held a meeting. Oh, so that's a minute, sorry. Red Bank Historic Preservation Commission will have a regular meeting on Wednesday, July 17th at 7 o'clock in Council Chamber. On 90 Monmouth Street, Red Bank, New Jersey. Adequate notice of this meeting has been posted at Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk, provided to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times. The commission has maintained a policy to cut off at the hour of 8:30 p.m. for its meeting. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible, liberty
and justice for all.
Go ahead, yeah.
Roll call.
Louis Almarini,
Present.
Marjorie Cavalier,
Present.
Liam Collins,
Present.
Paul Cagno,
Present.
Sharon Schmelko. Present. Doug Miller,
Present.
Andy Noor, absent. Betsy Valera. Present. Yes.
Okay, the first order of business is to consideration and approval of the minutes from June 19th. Has everybody had a chance to read them online?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anybody have any comments or corrections? The minutes? Seeing
Nope.
no comments?
Nope.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve them.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
For the record, I was not at that meeting, so I will not vote on that.
okay. So the next item on the agenda is public comments on agenda items. Does anybody in the public need to see the agenda items, or are they all aware?
Those are the applicants.
It's from the last one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so seeing no comments from the public on agenda items, report from the Minor Works Review Committee. Mr. Wynn?
Yes, so the minor works committee did meet, and it was regarding 56 Wallace Street. After further, discussion and, the minor work committee saw that it was best fit, to have the application reviewed by the entire board due to their scope of work. So that's why it's on the agenda for new business.
And so are we going to have a presentation on that under new business?
Yes, the applicant is here to present their case.
Okay, fine. All right. So under old business, the last time the first item is library presentation about historic preservation. Potential date, October 22nd. So one of the things we discussed at the last meeting was to make ourselves more accessible to the public and to engage in collaboration with other organizations in town. The library board presented us with some dates that we could have kind of an open presentation to the public for people to come and ask general questions about the ordinance or just get some viewpoint. So the date that Liam will be available and I will be available. I don't know if anybody else is interested in going to that because we can't have any more than 3 people there to meet with the public, is October 22nd. And tomorrow I will give that date to the library board, but it is one of the dates that they said that we could be housed in the library. So I don't see any problem with that. So going forward, October 22nd at the Red Bank Library on Front Street.
What time?
I'll ask them, but usually their meetings start at 6:30. Because they like the library to be cleared by 7:45. So all the presentations that they've been offering in conjunction with the 100th anniversary of the library are on that date. And also on October 22nd, Liam is going to do a 30-minute presentation. Liam, did you just want to tell them what you're going to be talking about in addition to questions on the HPC?
Yes, I'm giving a presentation on John Mount, who was an early car manufacturer, carriage manufacturer, and then car manufacturer in Red Bank.
Okay, so he thinks it'll be about 30 minutes and then we can have a Q&A if anybody comes and has any questions on it. The second item is the Irving Place District presentation. And the published agenda said that that meeting would be on August 21st, but we're gonna, with the approval of the commission, change it to September 18th.
So, I guess a lot of the other members weren't here when we had a discussion. We had a few, actually residents of, Irving Place that, showed up earlier. And they wanted to be here for the meeting, to speak on their property or to give an opinion on the designation. However, they will not be here for the August 21st meeting. Also, Lou will not be here for the 21st meeting, the August 21st meeting. So and because that's a big time for people to travel on vacation, we wanted to know if the board would be okay with moving that presentation to the September meeting instead of the August, since that's the peak vacation time. Any thoughts?
I'm good with that. September 18th will be the third Wednesday.
Yes.
So hearing no problem with that, we're going to move that to September. To September 18th.
Any other discussion about it from Liam or Paul?
That's fine with me.
Yeah, that's fine with me too.
Liam, will you be back from Scotland then?
I will not be back until the 1st of October, but I will attend virtually.
Okay. All right.
So I will renotice again with the paper. Renotice to the residents
Residents.
again, and I'll repost it on the website. So. Yes, and then our attorney will be at that meeting, so I will have to notify her.
Hopefully she can make it.
Yeah, she just has to know in advance and she'll schedule it in. So I'll probably shoot her a text or an email right now and let her know.
Okay, thank you. So the final item under old business is the historic properties information letter. Update on that?
That I actually spent the past 2 days putting together all the letters. It's like over 200 individual letters. So I've spent the past 2 days doing that, and it will be mailed out first thing in the morning. It's ready, primed up to be sent.
And could you just tell us what date will appear on the letter?
It would be today's day.
Thank you. Will be dated July 7th.
17th, yes.
Okay, so that's all the old business. The new business, as Shawna mentioned, came to the commission under the Minor Works Review Committee, who recommended that we hear from the applicant as a full commission. So there are representatives from 56 Wallace Street. So when you come forward, if you would give your name, spell perhaps the last name and your address. Just give Shawna a minute.
Even with the microphone.
Okay,
And just speak really, really clearly.
so did you hear that if you could give your name and spell your last name and your residence.
So Elmer Blum, last name spelled BLUM. 6 Wallace Street.
Okay, and General, are you also speaking?
Oh, sorry, I'm with his son, just kind of helping out.
Okay, are you a junior or different person?
No, I'm just Raymond.
Okay, okay.
You just need if you're gonna speak.
I don't want to.
It's good.
Okay, it's. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, we're ready. We are ready.
I do, what I'm proposing is to remove the asbestos siding that's on the property on the house right.
Just bring the mic closer to you, sir. Like all the way.
What I'm proposing to do is to remove the asbestos siding that's on the house. Replace it with a vinyl flatboard siding, very similar to what was originally on the house. When it was built, and I'm looking to, the front porch on the house and the trim detail, I'm scraping and repainting that, I'm giving that. The window trims on the side of the house, I'd like to cover with the ornament. The trims on the side of the house, rear of the house. Basically, that's really what all I'm doing.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, on the front of the house, the historic elements, including the top triangular window, you're keeping the top cap of the windows. All right, and then, but on the side, I don't see the picture, but the side does not have those similar caps?
It does have
They do.
caps, I think we can put those on, if we, you know, we make,
Azak.
Exactly, like a wood, that just be fenced on top.
Uh-huh.
It's all we can done, if you prefer that to be done, we can do that, that's no problem.
If that's not a problem, I mean, that would add to the appearance, that would add to maintaining the historic appearance. I mean, I commend you for restoring the wood on the front. I think that's wonderful, and we're responsible really for the streetscape, so I think that's fine. Anybody else like to comment?
All right, and,
Just turn on your mic.
and, thank you for raising the issue of the windows first and the trim on top, because that is the one of the elements of your house that caught our eye as to being, an element that isn't common on new construction, certainly, and therefore is something that we'd want to preserve. Obviously, if it's preserved by replacing it with a with a material like ASIC, but it has the same look, that would be fine. Or if it's in good shape and you want to preserve it by scraping and painting it, that is awesome.
It's gonna be a problem trying to do that, if they're covering the sides and then just trying to.
I understand.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be done, you know.
And the windows on the porch now, is it gonna be an open porch now?
It's enclosed, it's an enclosed porch, so I'm keeping the same windows, I'm painting the existing windows, I'm painting them, I'm painting the white, and versus what they are. All that trim on the front porch is just repainted. Lower part, the siding top, the lower part. We replace the specification of the lower part and the one side. The lower part, the lower trim on the porch area would be just scraped and repainted.
Have you decided on a color?
Yeah, I brought a sample of the siding, it's a gray, I had put it originally on the application page. But, I brought a sample of the, siding, it's a, twin lap, this is twin lap 4, I would be putting on, but
Lou, could you go down and just grab it and then we just,
siding would be used for your twin lap 5, be a little bit wider than this, which is very similar to what was originally on. This is a common, what you use common now.
Be careful.
The ladder on the siding would be 5 inches instead of about 4. Same that color also.
okay, so I just want to mention for the record, it does have a wood grain look to it.
And it's
A wood grain look.
Is that hardy board or is that just wrapping the house in plastic?
That's vinyl,
That's fine.
it's a better grade, it's not. It's not better grade,
So
Well, do you know what is underneath the existing asbestos shingle right now? Is it clapboard originally, the house, or is it cedar shingle or?
Was clapboard, yes, I have still some of the original clapboard is on the interior of the porch. So that's why I have to know exactly what it's on.
Mhm.
The porch is all enclosed.
That center door that's green now, the picture that I have is looking at is green. Is that gonna remain green or are you gonna paint that white as well?
I'm gonna paint it, I haven't decided on a color, I have to paint it any color, but I don't know whether I'm not gonna paint it green, that's for sure. I would like to replace it, but it's a tough door to replace because it's a 7-foot door. Which
Mhm.
is a common size, but if we were to replace that, would have to be custom made. You
Right,
can't just buy a door and replace that, so I'm gonna try to restore that door at the time.
okay, yeah, that, I mean, again, that would be ideal because it matches already, so. Yeah.
More plans to restore that door, it's gotta be re-glued and fast and put back together, it's
Mhm.
it's kind of in bad shape.
Can I ask,
Yeah, go ahead.
what are you doing with all the windows around the porch?
It's just gonna be,
I also have to add for myself personally, I just did something similar. I'm 2 doors down from you. And I went through that process and I did preserve as much as I could as far as the architectural trim. And I see that you're doing the same. And AZEK comes, they do have a lot of products that what's it called, simulate old and stuff like that. They came out with a lot of things now because of the need for it. And it's kind of like, it just makes sense. It's just gonna last longer. It's gonna have a, a little AZEK look to it, but AZEK is paintable and all that. And I'm gonna be painting mine as well, so it's gonna match. I had to build some of the windows and the top parts
The top cap,
were AZEK because there was rot. It's either that or just paint rotten wood. So I replaced them and it'll join it together with by painting it. It'll be consistent. That's all. And I think it's coming out great so far. It's just a process.
are there any other questions for the applicant?
I have a question about the soffit along right under where the roof is. There's a big like cove-like trim.
the original soffit on the house was replaced about 25 years ago when the roof was that house originally had a slate roof on it. And I bought it and it was in real bad shape. So when that roof was replaced, the built-in gutters were covered over. And all the soffit was covered with aluminum. Right now, all the soffit, the high up stuff is already covered with.
And I could tell from the picture just by the perpendicular lines that it's like vented aluminum. So I could see that. Below that, there's like a cove trim that below the soffit. Is that aluminum? I could bring this over. Thank you.
This here is all this rest here, so we
Oh, even this,
this is all, it's all done.
even the piece that's flush.
Okay. All that was done, and the sputters were, okay, that was done. Okay, that's already been done, yeah.
Okay.
Did
So
you
I
have
have-
anything
I have a
else?
couple of questions.
Oh, okay.
It was, the testimony for me was hard to hear, was going in and out, but I just wanted to confirm. So the windows and the trim are gonna be is gonna be scraped and painted? Did I hear that correctly?
We'll just trim on the front porch are, the side windows and rear windows. Well, the trim around the windows are gonna be covered with.
They're gonna be covered with aluminum, but the detail is gonna be preserved on the,
Yeah,
on the
it's gonna be a foam molding on the top like it is there.
On the side, Paul,
So,
on the front is gonna be, they're gonna scrape the wood. But on the side, they're just gonna simulate the architectural feature of the front.
Okay, and then is the siding different on the front as compared to the sides? Or is all the siding gonna be the same type of siding? Does that make sense? Like, in other words, is it gonna be more of a shake up front, or is it all the siding gonna be similar surrounding the entire house?
it's gonna be all the same all the way around.
And then what is the width of the siding? Is it comparable to what the shingle width is?
It's gonna be 5 inches, lap. That was similar to what was on there originally. Same like where it's 4-inch lap. It's gonna be a little bit more of a lap than what I showed you.
So I think if you could pull up the picture, it seems like you're copying the width that's inside the porch.
Like it was original.
Yes, that was original, whereas the asbestos shingle is wider.
Yeah, it's about, asbestos is probably almost 8 or 10 inch. Right.
Okay,
So the interior of the front porch shows the original clapboard on the house.
That's correct. The original front porch was on, or still on the front porch inside.
Are you changing the inside of the porch?
Everything's gonna stay the same inside. That's just gonna be paint.
Is the gray color, has that been selected from like a Benjamin Moore historic color selection?
I selected the siding contract that brought me over the samples. It's just from. It says it's a monogram siding, that's what we call it. It's a wood textured siding, not a smooth siding. It's made by Certainty.
Yeah, do you know if they offer any type of historic color selection, or are we just picking any old gray? Or I think that's probably important too, to maintain a historic color. I don't know what color it would compare to. Maybe it does compare to something on the Benjamin Moore palette of historical
I don't know
homes.
if the council's familiar with Cindy from our street on Wallace Street. Never heard of her? Cindy likes the lighter gray. She's a town council member, so she kind of,
She's not dark.
she says,
Very talk to me about.
Cindy approved her, right?
Cindy approved gray?
Really likes it.
Half the bottom.
any other comments? So, would somebody from the Minor Works Committee like to conclude the conversation and then we'll,
I mean.
Yeah.
Not
It's,
really.
it sounds like the improvements that Mr. Blumel's gonna make are actually gonna make the house look closer to what the original house looked like, so. I think it's a good thing.
so I guess my question is procedurally, do we ask the minor
No, this is not
review
the minor.
committee?
This isn't a minor, yeah.
Oh, okay,
It's us.
okay, so.
You make
so
a motion?
we- I'll make the motion to approve the changes,
And I'll second it.
and maybe we should
And then we
do a roll call vote.
vote.
Yeah,
Well, Guys, can I just make a suggestion? I mean, if we're going to approve it, we should probably list the conditions, right, of the approval, that he maintains the windows pursuant to his testimony. I don't know if this testimony is being recorded, but we should,
Since it's not
everything
really a condition, since it's already a part of his application that he's gonna do all of this, the condition would only be if it's something different from what he's already proposed. But the meeting is recorded, yes.
The only,
Condition that you
the
have.
only condition that I heard that isn't in writing,
Mhm.
the original application, is preservation of the window caps through either repainting or replacement with like basic. So that's it. Other than that, I think everything's in here.
Okay, so subject, I'd be willing to do a subject to that to that condition as well.
Okay, so I guess,
Roll call.
yeah,
Louis Almarini,
Approved.
Marjorie Cavalier,
approved.
Liam Collins,
I approve.
Paul Kiagna,
Yes.
Karen Schmelkov. I approve. Doug Miller
Yes.
and Betsy Valera. Approve.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. As another, sorry, but, I was just gonna say, as a member who lives on that street also, I'm curious as to whether or not, the cost considerations of, painting and so forth, are taken into consideration in these meetings. We're talking about an 82-year-old man up on a ladder right now. Well,
I'm sorry, but I don't do painting on the outside. I'm 72.
you painting outside? Okay.
I presume you're not gonna replace the siding yourself.
No.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so just like I'm saying, it's, I have.
I personally, now, on my own house, and my house is not on your street, but it's in Red Bank, it's 98 years old. I had asbestos siding, I had removed, I put hardy plank.
Yeah.
I love hardy plank, I would recommend hardy plank, but it's out there. If you thought that was in your budget, you would have come here with hardy plank. You're not insisting on hardy plank. So that's a big cost difference there.
I don't know, if it's not pertaining to this house, it's mainly pertaining to the committee itself. And we, I brought this up with Cindy, our friend Cindy.
Right.
And I said, and she loves the fact that the historical site in Walla Street is such an eye-catching part of town. And I agree, it's beautiful. However, there's considerations to maintaining a house such as that financially. I mean, especially with the windows. I mean, they're gorgeous. There's nothing to say anything that, I wouldn't want to take them down either. But what I'm saying, what, as far as financial incentives, does a owner of the property have from the committee or from the town?
Or federal and state grants. Like, so for example, recently, the boat club on the Navasink
Right,
had to come to us to get a letter. And then they applied to the state trust for a grant to cover it.
okay.
And so every year, people can apply for those grants.
And did the grants go quickly?
Well, usually the process takes a year, like you have to apply before April. You know in September. And then the money is allocated in January.
Okay.
So one of the advantages to historic places or residences is that there is money out there if you are willing to go through the process.
Okay. All right, that's just for future. I mean, 83 is just around the corner. So I just don't want this to keep happening without some sort of aid from the town. Or if I'm conveying it properly. Are we in agreement? Thanks.
So, yeah, but I would encourage you to go online and to maybe even apply to be a member, to get information. They publish magazines. You know, there's a lot of information out there for historic places because people do love historic places and want to maintain it and recognize the value in living or owning a historic place.
Right.
Thanks, thank you. Okay, the final new business piece, and I'm gonna turn it over to Karen to talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Turn on your microphone.
The three of us, Lou, Marjorie, and I met with the River Center at their request, and Christina was there as well. And we, to see whether we could coordinate. This was something that they want to do in terms of a lot of decisions they're making for their BID, for the River Center. And so the only sense that I got is this was the visual improvement committee. And that I kept reiterating. I also met with a member today to say, we only have a certain area that we only have a certain area that we are working within. And if it's not historic, then we have to deal with whether it's going to be historic or not. We can't just go in and say, we agree with you. But I thought it was a very productive meeting. I learned a lot about it. And they seemed very, very eager to accommodate and to coordinate. So thanks to Marge, who volunteered me as a member of a volunteer member of the VIC, the Visual Improvement District. And so I will go to those meetings and then come back here and present the information. Anything? Yes, Lou, anything?
Any questions, or Lou, you want to add anything else?
No, other than that, I thought it was a very productive meeting. It was
Absolutely.
good to meet them, and it's clearly an impressive group of people, the River Center Board, each of whom has individually and then together as a group have contributed a lot
Yes.
more than I ever realized to make Red Bank look the way it does today.
I agree. I was quite surprised at all of the different things they have done. So my only thought was that they will come and say, we're working on this. And I asked the commission if I come back and say, they're looking at this, wondering if we could coordinate with them. As far as I read, it's not part of our agenda, but do we want to think about that?
Well, I think one of the takeaways that I had with it is that they have various initiatives. They go to the planning and zoning board to comment on things happening in town. One of the things they mentioned was their aim is to remove billboards in town. So they were asking if we could present a letter of support, and what my recollection is, as individuals, I mean, we can definitely spread the word and be there for them, but unless we're talking about preserving, you know, and what came to mind was the ghost signs, for example. If we wanted to do something with that, then I could see that the two would come together. The other thing that they seemed to be on board with was something that I mentioned, a takeaway that I had from the conference, the importance of telling a story about the buildings. And they they seem to support that, and we may be working on an example of that.
Right, that was one thing we accomplished very quickly was to have the area between Triumph and Two River, that little street renamed for Edmund White, who was.
Wilson.
Well, I'm sorry, Wilson, and White is the other, Edmund Wilson, and so that was already put into play. And one of the things that Marjorie and I had spoken about before was the signage, which developed out of the 21, is it?
Out of the Doremus building.
The Doremus building, and the possibility of bringing in a significant amount of signage within the town. So again, that's something which we can talk about as it goes on, but they do have their own funding.
And they do have their own initiatives.
Yes.
Right, so the one thing that I was not aware of was that their intention to brick the sidewalks on Monmouth Street from Broad Street to Bridge Avenue, all the way down to the train station. That's one of the initiatives that they mentioned that they're working on.
I believe it has been approved by the council.
Yeah, so I could see us working together, and again, the importance of the visibility of the commission, that people know that we're here, and opportunities to collaborate on other agencies in town, so. Okay, so thank you, Karen.
And thank you, Marge, for setting that meeting up. It really was great.
Okay, so it concludes our new business, unless anybody else has anything to add to new business. So finally, public comments on non-agenda items. Public? No? Okay, so seeing no comments from the public, the two people in the audience, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so I have the meeting ending at 7:40.
And just for anyone who's online, that's not a board member, there is no presentation for Irving Place on August 21st. It is moved to the September 18th meeting. And that's it. Okay, see everyone in August. Hello.
All right. You're good.
All right.